Catherine and I took a trip to see our partner in Germany. The reason for the trip was that we were getting ready to make a new kind of alloy that we put on the saw blades that we make together. So we get on the plane in Los Angeles, and 11 hours later we arrive in Munich. As you can see, unfortunately, it was a little bit of a foggy day, so you can't see the Alps, which normally you can actually see as you fly into the airport. It's really, really beautiful. But anyway, we rent our car and we go about 2 hours even further south, deep into the Alps, and that's where we find our partner, whose name is Siegfried Kohlbacher. He has a manufacturing facility and he makes machines. And then together with us, we have this side business where we make blades that we sell all over the world. And we also make the Resaw King blade in this facility. Some of it we make in Germany and some of it we make back in California. Sunday afternoon we went for a little, Siggy and I took our wives, his son and their dog for a little walk in the Alps, and we got some really beautiful views of the small villages or dwarfs that we are looking down onto. It was really, really beautiful. Inside of Siggy's shop is very noisy. The workers wear ear protection almost all day, or iPods, and listen to music, but that's the nature of the beast when you are grinding steel, making and maintaining saw blades. The blades that we make are really quite different from normal bandsaw blades. It's a very involved manufacturing process.
See this ball? That's put on by the tipper. And then this machine here is grinding the profile.
We actually plant on a piece of very hard steel onto a flexible steel backing. And then we go through a whole, once we've welded this on, then we go through a whole series of sometimes repetitive grinding processes. We have to first grind them on the sides, and then we have to what we call profile grind them also, which is grinding, following the profile, making the correct angle on the roof and on the hook, which is the front of the tooth. Now, a normal bandsaw blade is not made like this. It's a piece of carbon steel, various different alloys people use, and some are better than others, and some are better for some functions than others. It's obviously a very, very big study to get the right blade for the right application. But normal bandsaw blades are just made of one alloy, and then the teeth are either ground, milled, or shaped into that same steel, and then they are pushed left to right to create the clearance or the curve. We don't do that. We don't have that pushing. We are grinding that because the tooth that we are welding onto the backing is wider than the blade already. So we grind it down, so we know exactly what we are doing on those side angles. And because the clearance from top to bottom is relatively small, we can create such an incredibly straight and smooth cut. A normal bandsaw blade is actually only cutting with one point, where in theory we are too, but that point is gradually, we gradually grind our way to that point. So we know the tolerances much better than a normal blade. Here you can see the welding machine. We buy this alloy that we put on. Currently, we are making Resaw Kings at the moment, and you can see the welding rod is coming in this roll. Here you see the welding machine. Out of this coil comes that special alloy that we put on the teeth. It's not a complete carbide, but it has as much of the carbide material in as we possibly can and still have a plasma welding process.
That gives you the actual shape of your tooth. And then we've got the hard face material coming in. And then the torch is melting the hard face material onto the actual blade.
So you see the coil coming here, and then the heat is being put on by the torch and melts a little goblet there onto the front. And then a little later you will see that we anneal. That's because as we weld on that little piece of alloy there, we actually harden the steel. And if we don't anneal it right after, or anneal it after this, then the blade is brittle and it would crack the first time you put it on a bandsaw. Very important process. And then here you see the side grinder. It has, we are making the left and the right side of the tooth here. 2 grinding wheels. They are made of a material called CBN. Come down left and right at the same time. And you can see here how we have this custom-made dial indicator instrument, and we are measuring the actual side clearance from the side of the body of the blade to the side of the tooth that we are putting on. And those tolerances we keep to under 2/100ths of a millimeter, and it's quite important. If you have a blade that's lopsided, meaning it has more clearance on one side than the other, it will also not cut straight, quite obvious. Or the third general process that we do is, we call that profiling. And that's the machine you see right here. It actually follows the entire front of the blade. It creates the correct angle on the top of the blade, right behind the tooth, and it of course creates the front of the blade, or the hook angle of the blade. And it also follows the gullet and everything in between. It's important that we grind the entire length of that raggedy edge, that's the tooth side. If we don't, we are set up for actual blade breakage. So this process must be very, very smooth and made with a grinding wheel that is not clogged up by steel. So we have to, every 5 to 8 teeth, we have to reprofile that grinding wheel. The machines are very sophisticated, very expensive, and very complicated too. But that's what it takes to make a world-class saw blade. Wood is becoming more and more expensive every day, especially the exotic woods that lots of our customers use. And the extra cost of one of our tip blades is well worth it. They last longer, they cut straighter, your waste is a lot less, and your waste due to blade wandering is almost entirely eliminated. So now you have kind of seen a little bit about what is involved in making this amazing blade. Try one of them, put it to the test, and I'm sure you will agree that it's the best blade you have ever used.